Hello, my name is Gaurav, and in the previous video, we have used this prompt to create a framework with Selenium and Java. In this video, we'll see that what all are the mistakes that were made by AI. So let's begin. So if you're coming first time to my site, that is gauravkhurana.in, you can stay connected on YouTube and learn about AI automation, and you can even subscribe to this newsletter. So let's see what we did last time and what are the improvements that we can think of. So this is the whole framework which was created by just a prompt. I gave a prompt which I shared, and within 30 to 40 minutes it created this very good documentation. You see, if you will create yourself, you can think of how much time it will take to adjust all of this, right? And it has given some great things, but it did some mistakes as well. Like if you see the previous video, not all tests were running, so some mistakes were done by me as well, right? So I'll tell you that which things that we can be careful about so that those problems don't come. So I have raised a PR, right, by applying all the fixes. So one by one, we'll go through the changes so that you are aware about those changes and you will not do those mistakes, right? So first of all, I just upgraded this version of Java, right? I used 11, but I think 21 is the latest stable one. So this I did it, right? Now the other thing is that the first main thing which it missed is that it will might not update the latest versions of the dependency, right? So the latest was 4.34, but it added 4.26 because its knowledge base is based on what all things are there on the right on the internet or from wherever it is reading it, right? And other thing was that, as you might know, that like with the latest Selenium version, WebDriver Manager is not needed, but still it added a code, right? So I have asked it to not use WebDriver Manager as it has been removed, right? So, but the good part is AI has only made these changes, right? I just instructed it. It opened the website of where we have all the Maven dependency. It checked out what was the latest one, and it has upgraded all these versions in this. So that was the first thing that it did not knew the latest. The second thing is your knowledge is important, right? So I knew that WebDriver Manager is not needed, so I asked it, right? So based on that, it has made the code changes in or in the other files as well, right? If you go to WebDriver Factory, WebDriver Manager code is there, which it has removed. And still to confirm that I did not wrote any code in this, right? I just gave instructions and it has improved it. But a person should be aware about these instructions, right? Now the second thing comes is that like if you go to pom.xml, the third thing actually, first two we discussed. So here it's talking about logging, but I noticed that there were no logs that were generated, right? So I asked it to investigate why no logs are generated. So then it initially found that okay, there was no log folder. So it has created this log folder, and then it has fixed some configuration, right? There was two libraries that were added, so it has removed one of them, and then logs started coming over here, right? So it's important that we test all of this stuff. Plus, one new thing that I want to tell you about this that they have recently doing. Earlier, I did not saw it, right? So if you see that some MD files, that is markdown files, are added over here, right? So what are these files? So every time it applied a fix, it has documented it like what is done, because what happens is sometimes we miss, right? Whatever all things are written here, we miss at times, right? But here it has created notes of all of them so that you can go through which all things it has applied. For example, this one is log analysis. So if I will open this, you will notice that what all things it did. Right, so it is telling that it has tried to read what is coming in the logs, right? And it noticed that there are logs are coming, right? But it's not getting captured over there. Right, it was giving 143. So it is telling that 143 sig term, right? So this way, as I said in the earlier video, we can learn stuff, right? You might not be knowing that what is 143 error code means. That means it's a signal for terminal, right? Graceful process termination. That means we are ending the process, right? And so yeah, it has told that what all things it has fixed. You can go through it, and it is telling that finally what is the status of the stuff, right? So this is a good thing that I think has been recently added. So apart from log, what I noticed was that like here I was looking at this documentation and I found that it has added example of GitHub actions, right? But there was no GitHub actions, like no pipeline was created. I think we did not give it in the prompt, but it added in the documentation, right? So if it has added, it could have probably created or suggested, right? So even I created this pipeline in GitHub actions, right? Because of which this framework is now running in the GitHub as well, right? And also the mistake that I did is never ever right test Google, right? So they block it, right? They know that if there is some kind of automation running on google.com, they are blocking it. So all these test cases are failing in CI/CD pipeline because there is a captcha kind of coming. We identify bikes in this, right? Which a machine cannot do, right? So avoid using Google. I'll try to change in the upcoming videos to something else, right? Instead of google.com, right? So some tests were failing and some things it has assumed also, right? While testing. For example, it has written a function, right, where it was checking like uh, while finding all the images on the screen, it was waiting for all the images to be loaded. But what was happening is some images or some links are hidden, they will never appear. So those tests were failing, right? So you have to have knowledge and check it out that why those errors are coming, right? So apart from what AI is doing, your knowledge is important, right? Because of which I was able to add these workflows, right? All this thing I did not remove it. You can try to go through them, right? And it has created like fix this WebDriver factory, and there are some problems coming by running in the CI/CD because generally many people use Mac or let's say Windows OS, right? So things are different a little bit in the Linux, right? The path generally, you know that, right? That if we use Windows, the path is use backslash, right? But in Linux, it is like this where they use forward slash for maintaining the paths, right? And that we have to run in the headless mode over there, right? So there were some errors coming, like which I have asked that why it is failing, and then it has written some code, right? Because one process was trying to kill another Chrome, so it has added some checks over here, right? Is running in CLI. So still, I did not added any code. I just gave instructions and we were able to do. So I think it's a good thing, right? That you are able to create code. At the same time, you should be knowledgeable enough to know the things, right? One more final example that I would give you is that there is something called as get attribute, right? So that got recently removed from Selenium, right? So it was coming as depreciated, right? So let me show you this get attribute and here get DOM attribute. But yeah, this I came to know because I was checking LinkedIn and somebody posted that they have removed this and added this, right? And then in the latest version, again, this is back. So if I'll update, I think the latest version of Selenium, which is I think one version more than in this, then this can be used, right? So you should have knowledge about this because its knowledge base is not the latest for AI, right? It will improve over time, but these are the small mistakes that it did. Hope you like it, and in the next video we will try to add API as well in this, and let's see how it can add API and maybe mobile as well, right? And probably I will improve this to even if you want just an API framework, I'll add where if you want an independent API one, that can be done. So hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching. If any questions, do post and I'll try to answer. Thank you.